Alright, guys, time to play a game. It's time to head back to Saw 2004. What's going on, everyone? This is Vicente.
And this is Izzy.
And welcome to our film review of Saw, released in 2004. Such a mega franchise, but we're going to take it back to the first movie, directed by James Wan and written by Lee Whannell. And fun fact, this started out as a short film that they made, I believe, when they were in college. Me and Izzy watched it earlier, and it's good. I really, really liked it, and it's inspired by a lot of stuff. It inspired a scene with Amanda Young in the movie with the bear trap, and it's amazing how this movie barely had a $1 million budget, and it kills it at the box office, making $103.9 million.
Yeah, that's literally crazy. I mean, it's crazy to think how this college film went from nothing to everything in a box office.
And you can tell that this was made with passion and love, and regardless of your feelings of the entirety of the Saw franchise, you can't deny that this movie, like the first Scream movie, was innovative. Like, it created what we know, torture porn. Granted, to me, the first three, I know it's a funny term, the first three movies, I don't really consider it in that category. But then later on, their traps get outrageously stupid. Some I like it. I'm not going to lie, the traps get dumb later on in the franchise, but I still love them.
Yeah, this first movie is probably one of my all-time favorites. Is one of my first love horror movies, aside from Chucky, as everybody knows. Mm-hmm. But I literally love just this franchise in general and the concept of the movie.
Yeah, and granted, it can get very confusing sometimes. You have to admit, the first movie, to me, it would have been perfect as a one-and-done film, but we did get a pretty good franchise out of it, like I said, regardless of how you feel, and just in total, but I love it. If I had to rate the first Saw movie, I'd give it a 10 out of 10 easily. It's good, and I can't wait to talk more about it.
Oh yeah, I would probably give it a 10 out of 10 as well. It's literally, I don't see anything that's horrible in it. I love it.
Yeah, it's kind of hard, just because, like, with the first movie, you kind of love it. I mean, granted, there probably are things that are wrong with it, but it's just kind of hard to see them, especially when you got a good movie like this.
That is true. I might probably am biased on that.
Yeah. Like I said, 10 out of 10 for me, but when we get to later sequels, the quality does start going down.
Yeah, I can agree with that. One.
And this movie is just surrounded by so much mysteries, especially in the first one. A lot of cool red herrings. You don't know who the jigsaw killer is until, when it wants to reveal it. I don't want to get into spoilers yet. But like Scream, this is a perfect whodunit mystery, because you don't know who is the jigsaw killer. And like I said, it's a great mystery movie. I mean, we get Danny Glover as Detective David Tapp. He's a badass in this movie. I just wish Samuel L. Jackson was in one of the earlier Saw movies. Yeah, we see him in Spiral, but come on. It would have been cool to see someone like him in an earlier movie.
I mean, but Danny Glover did a really good job.
Oh, he did. He's going to be one of our positives, but like I said, great mystery film, and this movie was actually pretty fucking scary. Honestly. I'm not going to lie. Like, when we rewatched it yesterday on Saturday, holy crap, there were some scenes where like, damn, I don't remember it being this scary.
Exactly.
Especially when Adam gets kidnapped and everything. Like, that's what I do miss about later on the Saw movies, is that scariness and effectiveness of the character of Jigsaw.
Yeah, I miss the behind the scenes in the later movies a lot.
Yeah, I do, but without further ado, let's get into our positives and our mixed feelings on Saw 2004. And starting with our first positive, the chemistry between Gordon Lawrence and Adam. Now, Gordon Lawrence is played by Cary Elwes. I really hope I said his name right. I'm not trying to make it sound like a girl's name. And Adam is played by Lee Whannell, who's a writer of this movie, and he was the star actor, the lead role in the short film Saw 0.5. We couldn't find the title of the short film. Fans just dubbed it Saw 0.5, so that's what we're just going to call it. But I love how in the beginning, they don't know each other and are hostile towards each other, which makes sense because you wake up in this disgusting bathroom with a dead body right in the middle of it with his head, blown off, and you're wondering how the hell are you here? And so you can't blame them for being antagonistic towards each other. But then sometime in the film, building up towards the second act, they start forming some sort of camaraderie. They're talking about their personal lives, what they do for a living, and all that stuff. And then Gordon finds out that his family's being held by the Jigsaw Killer, and he starts being antagonistic towards Adam, and then Adam remembers how he knows Gordon, and so they're trying to solve this mystery about how they got there, how are they connected, and it's revealed that Adam was a private investigator hired by a cop to investigate Dr. Gordon Lawrence because the cops believe, or Detective David Tapp believed, that Lawrence was the Jigsaw Killer, and we get photos of Lawrence cheating, or attempting to cheat on his wife, just all this stuff. But I do like their chemistry. It's actually believable. And people complained about Lee Ranal's acting as Adam because he is a writer, but I'm not going to lie, I think he did a pretty good job despite not having a lot of acting experience.
Yeah, for me, I think his acting was done really well. There are some scenes that are kind of not believable, but then you see later in the scene that it wasn't supposed to be believable.
Oh my god, the one where like he acts like he smoked the poisonous cigarette, I'm like, dude, come on. Like, I know it's a movie, but you gotta make it more believable. You know, he's acting like he took the poisonous cigarette, and then he gets zapped by the chain. It's like, yeah, well, that fucking failed. But Gordon Lawrence, I actually do like this character. You know, he does. I'm not gonna spoil what happens, but I would say he is a pretty good character. You know, interesting. Cary Elwes is a pretty good actor. I don't know him in a lot of projects, but I would say he did give it his all in this movie.
Oh, yeah, for sure. And I think another thing I want to commend is, like, the makeup done on Gordon throughout the movie and the progression. Oh, my God.
Yes, that's something I want to bring up, too. Gordon looks normal, like a normal dude in the beginning of the movie. But then as the movie goes on, he just starts getting more pale. He's having, like, dark drags under his eyes, everything. And then my favorite part is when he fucking chops off his foot. We don't see the whole thing, the whole process, because it was a small budget film, but holy crap, the way it looks, like, practical effects are the way to go when you're making a movie like this. But yes, I do agree, that's something I didn't even think about there, is that we see him become more and more unstable, and with Adam, he looks a little bit normal throughout the whole movie. Yeah, granted, he's probably going crazy too. But Dr. Gordon Lawrence he just looks so sick. And yeah, his family is being held hostage, but holy crap, that's a good point. I didn't even think about that. Good job, babe.
Yeah, because you just literally see the blood drain out of his body, especially after he chops off his foot. It literally just looks amazing and believable.
Yeah, I will say, out of those two characters, Gordon Lawrence is probably the one who is going to end up living, regardless of how this movie went.
Yeah, I can agree with that.
All right. And starting with our second positive, Danny Glover as the character of Detective David Tapp. I actually like his character in this movie. He's one of the few cop characters in the entire Saw franchise. I kind of do wish I had a bigger role leading into the sequels. But like I said, small budget film. You didn't know if you were going to get a sequel. You didn't know how bigger the budget was going to get. So they were just playing it safe. But he does a really good job because he's the one that suspects Dr. Gordon Lawrence as the Jigsaw Killer. And throughout the movie, we see him just investigating this one tape because Jigsaw will leave audio recordings for his victims saying that if you don't do this, then you're going to die, all that. Do you appreciate life? And he's just so obsessed with the Jigsaw Killer, even to the point where his partner, Detective Singh, is telling him, dude, you got to get a girlfriend. You got to get a life. You know, like, I get it, you want to catch this dude, but you're being a little too obsessed with it. It's to the point where he's working late at the police station, just observing this one tape. And I respect that. But it's like, it seems like he does a good job at making it seem like this Jigsaw Killer is taking over his whole life.
Yeah, because I feel like that's basically what it did, is literally he got an apartment across the street. And it was just so crazy because it was like, what the hell?
Oh, yeah, he got an apartment across the street from Dr. Gordon Lawrence. Yeah, because he really believed he was a killer. And there is going to be a little negative we'll talk about later on towards the end of the movie. Or the end of this video, sorry, not movie. But when Detective Singh finally dies, because they fall for a jigsaw trap trying to capture the Jigsaw Killer, this dude goes completely bonkers to the point where his apartment is a mess. He's talking to a photo Detective Singh as if he's really there. And it's so sad because, yeah, in the beginning of the movie, he might have seemed a little creepy, but he was still a good cop. He had the right intentions. But then we slowly see him just descend into madness like Dr. Gordon Lawrence. He just looks unstable because his throat is slashed from the Jigsaw Killer and his partner died because of him. And so we just see him just start going insane and being obsessive. And he's the one that hired Adam to stalk Dr. Gordon Lawrence and get photos to see if he truly was the Jigsaw Killer.
Yeah, which I think is really crazy how Jigsaw figured all of that out.
Yeah, and the one thing, and it sucks that his character dies at the end of the movie. I kind of do wish we would have seen him in one more sequel, but like I said, this movie wasn't guaranteed a sequel. It was a small budget horror movie, so they were just playing it safe. But I'm pretty sure if they knew that they were going to get a big franchise like this, they would have kept him for one or two more movies, guaranteed. Like I said, amazing character. And fun fact is that there was a video game set after the first movie that revealed that David Tennant actually lived. It is considered non-canon, but I would say, let's just say this, his movie fate, his canon fate, is a lot better than what happens to him in the game, which has two endings, which I'll say right now. The first ending in the Saw game is that he goes insane because he wants to talk about Jigsaw and capture him. He goes insane to the point he goes to an insane asylum, but he thinks it's another game of Jigsaw, so he goes fucking bonkers. He goes way more crazy. And then the second ending is where he actually does that one thing. I'm not going to say what it is, but you guys can pretty much figure it out. Like I said, his movie fate is a lot more tamer than what happens to him in a Saw video game. Pretty fucked up.
It sounds like his death in the movies was more heroic than it was in the games.
Yeah, at least he tried to save Lawrence, Dr. Gordon Lawrence, and Adam. So we got to commemorate him for that. And our third positive, the personification and scariness of the Jigsaw character. Now, I consider the actual person who's behind the Jigsaw killings and the Jigsaw killer as two different people. Yes, they're the same person, but I do see it as a different person as well. But Jigsaw is scary. It's the fact that in the movie, you don't know who it is. He could be anyone.
Yeah, I feel like Jigsaw, even though we see him as a doll, but we seriously, throughout the movie, we don't know who he is. And that's the most mysterious and scary part about it.
Yeah, like he can be someone that you saw at the coffee line, at Starbucks, or someone at the gym, or even a coworker. You don't know who he is, and that's what's scary. And his voice. My God, his fucking voice.
Congratulations, you are still alive. Most people are so ungrateful to be alive.
And as you just heard from that audio clip, oh my fucking God, dude. Like, I remember when I first seen this as a kid, his voice scared the crap out of me, and it's so good. And the actor, like I said, I'm not going to reveal who the Jigsaw killer is, for those that don't know. He does a good job with the voice. Like, imagine just hearing that in the dark. And the fact that this dude is literally kidnapping people that did bad deeds, or, you know, in the beginning he kidnapped people for bad deeds, but then later on in the sequel, this dude was just pulling stuff out of his ass.
Yeah. And I seriously think the way that he's killing them but not killing them is probably one of the most scariest part of the movies, and eeriest as well.
And I want to say this, not a lot of people realize it, but the character of Jigsaw has this god complex where he thinks he's basically God. Later on in the sequels, you kind of see more of it, but I think in the first movie, it goes over a lot of people. This dude thinks that he's changing people's lives, and in some way, yes, he is. Like we see with the character of Amanda Young, to how she says she's grateful because Jigsaw taught her a lesson. But then what about the other people that died, which is scary as hell? So like I said, the fact that he thinks he's a god and that he was here on this earth to judge people, to put them through these torturous traps, is just fucking scary too. Because this dude literally thinks that he's God, that he's gonna help heal you, when in reality, this dude is just straight up murdering people. Yeah, some of them are criminals, some of them are drug addicts, or just have a bad history. But that's just fucking terrifying, and it adds more to the point where this dude can be literally anyone, your next door neighbor, or, you know, someone that's your wife.
Your best friend.
Yeah, like I said, you know, and then with the actor that helps with the character of Jigsaw, adds so much layer, and I can't wait till we get to that positive, because it's going to be awesome. And with our fourth positive, the traps and the deaths in this movie are some of the best in the Saw franchise. Now, for this being a small budget horror film on $1 million, back then it was pretty much a lot. Now it barely means crap, but they did a lot of good effects with this movie, especially the deaths and the traps. My favorite trap being the reverse bear trap. I can only imagine how fucking scary being in that trap would be.
Yeah, the reverse bear trap is one of the scariest, but I think for me, mine would probably be the candlelit one.
Oh my God, yeah. Where, like, he has to figure out the combination to get out of the room. And as we see in this clip right here, you know, Jigsaw tells him straight up, oh, you got a flammable jelly on your body, so I might be careful with that. And that's just terrifying as hell. But I think my favorite death in this movie is gonna have to be Detective Singh's. Oh my god! You know what's funny is that when we were rewatching this movie yesterday, um, I asked Izzy, how the hell did he not see the shotgun string? And then there was webs covering it. I was like, okay, well that makes sense. So he didn't see it. But the minute you see his foot go over that trap wire and the shotgun's on top, oh my god! Even though we don't see the full effect, we see the blood dripping down and everything, and oh, dude, it's gnarly, and I love it.
Yeah, there has got to be the gnarliest kill in this movie for sure.
Oh, gnarliest one in this movie for sure, yeah. And then there's one where the guy's stuck in barbed wire, which is a pretty fucked up fate. I would not want to be in barbed wire.
Especially with the meaning behind that one. That one's probably the most fucked up.
Oh yeah, and like I said, there's gonna be some things you talk about where Jigsaw's kind of being an asshole when he chooses his victims, and then especially the one where Amanda Young literally kills a dude, even though he doesn't feel it and he couldn't move a muscle. The fact that she killed a dude to get to his stomach that had the key to her reverse bear trap, that's just fucking savage, dude. And I remember I told Izzy, Amanda Young seems like the type of girl to fall in love with you after one toxic day, and yeah, no. But like I said, the deaths, gore, and blood in this movie are done with really good practical effects.
Yeah, and I also think I know film is low budget, so I think a lot of the lighting and the films that they use to film this movie have a lot to do with the effect of all the gore.
Oh yeah, I even told you, like, with the green filter because there is a green filter in this movie where it's like green lighting and stuff like that, but whenever you see the color red, holy crap, it brings it out. And so when someone's bleeding out or there's blood all over the fucking floor or wall, they really brighten that red, even if it's like a red blanket. So it is a cool little effect that I do love. So like I said, the practical effects when it comes to the deaths, the traps and everything, chef's kiss, fucking perfect. And it only gets better and much more crazier in later sequels.
Yep.
And finally, our last positive, I'm so excited to talk about this, the big twist and the big reveal of this movie. Now, throughout this whole movie, we get introduced to the character of Zepp, who seems like he's the jigsaw killer. And I even told Izzy, this dude seems like he'd be a serial killer in real life with the way he was acting, like his body language and everything. And we even see him hold Dr. Gordon's family hostage, his wife and his daughter, holding a gun to their head while he's like listening to their heartbeat. He's just fucking scary, and he's listening to them. He's watching Adam and Gordon through cameras and stuff like that. And this is where it becomes my favorite fucking twist and reveal. So in the movie too, there's a dead body, quote unquote, dead body in the middle of the bathroom where Gordon and Adam are trapped at. Gordon leaves off of one foot after cutting it off to escape his chains and tells Adam, I'm going to come back with help. After he just killed Zepp, after Zepp just killed Detective David Tapp. And then Adam searches Zepp's body to find a key or anything to get out of his chain because he doesn't want to cut off his foot. None of us want to cut off our foot. And then he sees that Zepp had a little tape recorder and he plays it. And then it's revealed that Zepp was just another player in Jigsaw's game. And that he was poisoned and that Gordon had to fulfill his part of the bargain. And his game was to kill Adam. Adam's test was to just survive. Gordon's test was to kill Adam. And Zepp's test was to make sure that Gordon killed Adam and Gordon and Zepp would live. And then as the iconic Hello Zepp theme plays, you see the dead fucking body rise up, and it's no other than John fucking Kramer, aka Jigsaw, played by the amazing Tobin Bell. Like I said, his voice in the movie, fucking terrifying, and he brings this character so fucking high in later sequels. Even though the sequels do get shitty, you can't deny that Tobin Bell, or just that twist in general, is the best fucking twist and reveal in any movie, regardless of horror, comedy, just any movie in general.
Yeah, literally the voice of John Kramer is probably one of the most iconic things you will never forget. And when you watch this for the first time, it will probably be a scene you will never forget.
I know. I would recommend if someone wants to watch a good horror movie, watch this movie with them, because I've done it with people that have never seen a horror movie in their life, and they've said the ending was the best thing ever. And there's a Reddit group I like to follow here and there about Saw, and they had a post that said, "What was your reaction to the ending of Saw in theaters?" And there's a lot of people that said that people were just shocked. Like, some theaters were quiet, some went, oh shit, like that twist. Because when you rewatch this movie, you see all the signs that John Kramer with Jigsaw all along. Earlier in the movie, like we said, when John Kramer slashes Detective David Tapp's throat, he tells David Tapp straight up, I'm sick. I have a disease eating away at my body. You don't really think about it. You just think that he's just saying it in a metaphorical way. But no, he's saying literally there's a disease killing his body inside because he has cancer, as is revealed by Zepp in the movie and Dr. Gordon Lawrence, because John Kramer was a patient of theirs. So when you rewatch this movie knowing that John Kramer is the killer, there's just so many signs to where you're just like, how the fuck did I not catch that at first?
Exactly, and I think one of the craziest things with this movie is how all of the characters interconnect with each other.
Oh my god, yes. That's something I will say I love about these Saw movies, is that everything connects. And it does a pretty good job at it. So it's like, you may see one character die, for example, in Saw 2, but then in Saw 4 and 5, they're connected in some other way. And so I do like how in this movie, granted, they probably thought it was just going to be a one-and-done film, everything just connected perfectly. And that ending to where John Kramer tells Adam the key to your chain is in that bathtub. But earlier in the movie, we see the fucking key sink down below through the bathtub, through the water pipes. And Adam realizes he's fucked. And he tries to kill Jigsaw, John Kramer. And then we get the most iconic line.
Game over.
And that ending right there, that game over, imagine just how scary it would be to be in Adam's position. I know Izzy wants to talk about the end credits.
Yeah, so for me, the end credits is probably one of like the most iconic but also scariest things about this movie, because literally imagine a black screen with rolling credits and all you hear is Adam screaming in the background throughout the entire thing.
It's so bone chilling because each scream throughout the credits, when Adam's screaming, they start, it's high, 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 then low, 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 representing that this dude is probably dead. You know, it is revealed later on that yes, he does die. We're not going to say how just yet. But man, that ending and just a twist literally makes that movie so much fucking better.
Because literally at the end, while you're walking out of the theater, it's just so bone chilling.
Oh my god, yeah. I could talk about this ending so much, but yeah, best ending and best twist reveal in any movie, regardless of the genre.
Honestly.
And that's going to do it for our positives. Now let's get into our mixed feelings. And we only really have one. And it is kind of a nitpick, but it's something that kind of bugs me a little bit. Just sometimes the editing in this movie is a little weird, especially the scene transitions. Like the clip we're going to show right now, to where it's showing David Tapp's face, and a fucking car just rolls by his face, and it goes to the next scene. I mean, yeah, it's funny. Like I said, it's nitpicking, but it's just something I'm just like, do we really need that? And then when fucking David Tapp is chasing down Zepp in a car, like, just look at this scene right here that we're going to show right now. Literally going crazy, like something out of a Fast and Furious movie. So that is something that the future Saw sequels in this franchise kind of get a little overboard with when it comes to scene transitions. But like I said, I am mixed with some scene transition in this movie and sometimes the editing.
Yeah, for me, I feel like the scene transitions kind of make the timelines also confusing.
Oh my god, yeah. To where, like, you don't know when it's taking place. Because that's one of the things I do like about this movie, too, is that sometimes it takes place in the present, then we get a flashback, and then we get a flash forward, just stuff like that. But there are times where the editing is making it seem like, oh, it's taking place in the present, what the hell? And all of a sudden, it was actually just a flashback. You're like, oh, okay, weird. But like I said, that's just a small nitpick. That's all really my mixed feelings on this movie. Is that the editing and the scene transitions are just a little wonky sometimes, but I'm able to overlook it and still have a good time with it. And we do have like one negative, but it's a funny negative. Like, we were making fun of the whole scene when we were rewatching this movie. So in the scene too, where Detective David Tapp and his partner Detective Singh find out where Jigsaw's like secret headquarters or base is at, and they find his next victim, and you hear Jigsaw coming up the fucking elevator, and you hear Detective Singh straight up tell Detective David Tapp,
why? We fucking got him!
I don't know what he looks like. Let's see what he's gonna do.
No fucking way! Fuck that, I'm gonna take him.
and I'm fucking sorry, Detective Singh had the right idea. Just shoot this motherfucker. Like, there probably is something in police protocol that says you can't shoot someone, or like you need a warrant, or there's probably some police protocol that prohibits it. But dude, This is the Jigsaw killer. If you're not gonna fucking kill him, at least shoot him in the leg or something. Disarm this dude, like, fucking, I don't know, do something to where this dude is gonna get arrested and you have him dead to rights.
Exactly. Just make sure that you can catch him afterwards. Just shoot him in the leg.
Yeah, throughout this whole scene, I'm like, oh my god. If David Tapp just listened to detectives saying never would have died, and he just would have stopped the whole Jigsaw mystery killings, maybe because there were other apprentices where we'll talk about in later sequels, but yeah, that scene right there, I'm just like, bro, you have Jigsaw dead to rights, hide behind a corner, and when he pops up, boom, and watch, there's gonna be someone that says, oh, what if it was the wrong person? Dude, who's gonna pop up in a fucking Jigsaw facility randomly? Let's be honest here. Like, if that dude, okay, whoever was in the elevator, if it was some random person, they're going to check out the place, and they're going to realize, oh, this is fucking Jigsaw's killer place. Mm-hmm. Fuck that. Like, dude, I'm sorry, I just would have shot Jigsaw.
Exactly, and even if it wasn't Jigsaw, it could have been one of his apprentices, would have even given them information, too. So it wouldn't have mattered.
Oh, I didn't even fucking think about that. Like I said, if you didn't want to kill Jigsaw or one of his apprentices, fine. Whatever. But at least shoot them in the leg or something to the point where they're not going to be a threat, and you call for backup. Oh, and that's the thing, too. I told Izzy, why aren't they calling backup? I get it. They didn't have a quote-unquote warrant. But, dude, you have a lead on Jigsaw, on his whereabouts. Mm-hmm. I'm sorry. The minute I get there, I'm calling fucking backup. I'm sorry. I'm calling the SWAT. I'm calling other cops. I'm calling anyone that's close to the vicinity and be like, yo, roll up. We know where Jigsaw's at. Fuck this. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to set a perimeter, and when this dude comes up, boom. That's just me, though. But like I said, if some of these horror characters in a horror movie were smart, we wouldn't have a lot of these movies.
That is very true.
But like I said, this is a fun negative. It doesn't ruin a movie. It's just something that me and Izzy like to poke fun at, because he literally could have ended this whole series so quickly. But like I said, it's a fun negative.
Yeah.
Now, when we get to the real negatives, you'll know in future movies. And that's going to do it for our positives, our mix, and our negative feelings on the first Saw movie released in 2004. Like I said, amazing horror movie. It literally, I would say it kind of reinvented the horror genre again, too, because like I said, yeah, it created quote-unquote torture porn or whatever the fuck you want to call it. But this was a horror movie that you never really saw. It's not a slasher. The Jigsaw Killer isn't someone like Jason Voorhees. He's not Freddy Krueger. He's not Michael Myers. He's not Pinhead. He's not Chucky. He's not Candyman. Hell, he's not even fucking Ghostface. And Ghostface is probably the closest thing you considered when it comes to the Jigsaw Killer. He's just this dude, this normal dude who thinks he has a god complex, and we'll explain in Saw 2 about why he is the way he is, because it goes into a little bit more depth, even though they change his fucking origin story every goddamn time, every new movie, and it's just fucking stupid. But like I said, the character of Jigsaw, he's played amazingly by Tobin Bell, and this, like I said, if there was anyone else that played the character of Jigsaw that wasn't Tobin Bell, I do think this movie wouldn't be as iconic as it is today.
Yeah, I have to agree with that.
Just because, like, Tobin Bell brings it his all as John Kramer. And, he's this sweet old dude. But when he's John Kramer, he's fucking scary. He's good. Like I said, he's not your typical horror movie villain. It's just something different. And he does say one thing, which I fucking hate, to where people think that he's not a serial killer because it's the people doing it to themselves. I'm all like, no, he's putting them in traps to where they can fucking die. That's like if I held a gun to someone, or no, I made someone hold a gun to themselves and I told them, do it. That's still murder because I'm forcing them to. But like I said, that's going to be all safe for Saw 2. But like I said, I give this movie a 10 out of 10. Iconic ending to a fucking amazing movie. The cast of this movie each do a good job. And Tobin Bell is easily the MVP of this movie. Even on a rewatch, you're just like, oh man, Tobin Bell just fucking brought his A-game to this movie. And he does, especially in Saw 2. Alright, that's going to do it for this episode. We hope you guys enjoyed it. And as always, be good people. Take care of each other. Peace out. We'll catch you in our next episode of Saw 2. Bye, everyone.
Bye.